Hi there, this is Saman and you're watching the Genesis YouTube channel. As you saw in the quotes in the beginning of the video, the role of mathematics as an aid to understanding the world has been evaluated differently by different philosophers. Nicholas puts mathematics at the center, whereas Henry puts physics at the center, which is true though. In this and the next two videos, I'll be exploring the relationship between mathematics and physics, and I want you to make up your own mind. It is true that physics needs mathematics to express its laws, but the converse is also true. In this three-part video series, I am going to show you three examples of this interplay between physics and mathematics. The first example that we will see is a physical problem that is not difficult to state and for which it is only slightly more difficult to actually calculate a solution. It all comes down so smoothly, in fact, that it is easy to convince yourself that the job is done. But it is not, because the solution makes no physical sense, and it will be elementary mathematics that will show us that. In the next video, I show you an example of the converse, a physical problem that is easy to state, but that clearly has a nonsensical mathematical solution, and there it will be the physics that shows us the way out. The third video also will show you an example of physics deriving a mathematical theorem, probably the most famous theorem in all of mathematics. So for today's example, consider a 1 kg mass that we are going to accelerate straight down the positive x-axis, starting from rest at x is equal to 1. We'll accelerate the mass by applying this very benign looking position dependent force F is equal to x square. At time t is equal to 0, we have the mass motionless at x is equal to 1 with an initial applied force of F is equal to 1 Newton directed towards increasing x. We now ask a very simple question, at least what appears to be a very simple question. Where on the x-axis is the mass at time t is equal to 5 seconds? The astonishing answer is that there is no answer. The mathematics seems easy enough, but the problem is simply physical nonsense, and here's why. From Newton's second law, we have force is equal to mass into acceleration. So x square is equal to 1 into a. And the initial conditions for this problem are at t is equal to 0, dx by dt, which is the velocity, is equal to 0. And the position at this instant is 1. Now, we write the acceleration as v dv by dx, separate out the variables, and we integrate. Take care of the limits. When x was 1, velocity was 0, and at general x, the velocity is v. Integrating this, we get v is equal to square root of 2 by 3 x cubed minus 1. That's a simple calculation which I trust you can do. This tells us the speed of the accelerating mass as a function of its location. In particular, for any finite value of x, the speed too is finite. Just remember this. Now, we can further write this v as dx by dt and integrate again, and we will get an integral of the form t is equal to root over of 3 by 2 integral 1 to x dx by root over of x cubed minus 1. Before we think of integrating this, let's understand what this represents. This is giving us the time in which the particle is reaching x. And from the previous relation, v is equal to square root of 2 by 3 x cubed minus 1, we can calculate how fast is it moving at that location. So with these two results, theoretically, we are done, right? Well, the more perceptive of you would wonder on the lower limit of the integral, because at x is equal to 1, this denominator root over of x cubed minus 1 in this integral becomes 0. So you might be concerned about the very existence of the integral. However, I'll show you that this integral does exist. So that is not a concern. Ironically, that very existence is the problem, because the integral exists, that is t has a finite value, even when the upper limit x is infinity. That is, this integral 1 to infinity dx by root over of x cubed minus 1 is less than infinity. This is disastrous because that means that our 1 kg mass has moved infinitely far in a finite amount of time. Think about this while I demonstrate to you the claim of existence of this integral. Now take this integral 1 to infinity dx by root over of x cube minus 1. Now what we do is we open up this x cube minus 1 into x minus 1 into x square plus x plus 1. Now you can see the term root over of x square plus x plus 1 in the denominator. Now this term in the denominator is definitely less than square root of x square. Therefore, this integral is less than integral 1 to infinity dx by root over of x minus 1 into root of x square. Think about this a little bit. You'll understand this. It's just the idea that since x square plus x plus 1 is greater than x square, in the denominator, if I take it down, it will become less than. So we have this integral 1 to infinity dx by root over of x cube minus 1 is less than 1 to infinity dx by x into root over of x minus 1. Now if I change the variable to u is equal to x minus 1, this right hand side integral becomes 0 to infinity du by u plus 1 root u. This is not very difficult to work out. Change the variable, change the limits properly, and you will get this. Now I break this integral into two parts, 0 to 1 and 1 to infinity. And the denominator I write as sum of two quantities, u power 3 by 2 and u power half. Now we can make this inequality even stronger by replacing each of the two right-hand integrals by even larger ones. In the region 0 to 1, that means u is a fraction here. If u is a fraction, then 1 by u power 3 by 2 plus u power half is less than u power half. Whereas in the region 1 to infinity, in that integral, u is greater than 1. Therefore, this integrand is less than 1 by u power 3 by 2. Think about this a little bit. When I have a fraction, any power of that fraction is less than itself. And when I have a number greater than 1, any power of that is greater than that number. So we create two integrals which are now even larger. And we can integrate these two integrals very easily. And this value is 4. So this integral 1 to infinity dx by root over of x cube minus 1 is less than 4, definitely. Thus, our 1 kg mass has moved infinitely far away in less than root over of 3 by 2 into 4, which is roughly around 4.9 seconds. Now, where the mass is at t is equal to 5, therefore, simply has no answer. Because can anything be further away than infinity? Now, before discussing just what exactly is going on to cause this outrageous result, let me show you another seemingly faultless mathematical analysis that results in an even more outrageous conclusion. Now imagine that we have a speed-dependent force, that is F is equal to say v cube. Now further imagine that we have our 1 kg mass as before to be accelerated by this force down the positive x-axis. But now I'll change the initial conditions that the particle starts from the origin x is equal to 0 with its initial speed of 1 meter per second. That is at t is equal to 0, x is 0 and v is 1 meter per second. Writing Newton's law, force is equal to mass into acceleration, v cube is equal to 1 into a. I'm writing a as dv by dt. Separate the variables, integrate. While integrating, take care of the limits. And you get v is equal to 1 by root over of 1 minus 2t. So, the mass approaches infinite speed as t approaches half second. Now this looks bad, alright, but what makes this result really bad is where the mass is when this speed is becoming arbitrarily large. It is not infinitely far away from the x-axis, but rather pretty close to where we started from. Now this is very easy to demonstrate. We can write v as dx by dt and integrate this up, and we will get x is equal to 1 minus square root of 1 minus 2t. That is, as t tends to half, we have x tends to 1, which means that our mass achieves infinite speed in just half second after moving just 1 meter. After t is equal to half second and x is equal to 1 meter, our solution offers no answer to either how fast the mass is moving or where it is. That is, the mass leaves any realm of reality right in front of our eyes. This, of course, is absolutely absurd. The problem with both of these examples is that we have assumed unphysical forces that have no bound. They're not bounded. As well as we have used physics that is not relativistically correct as the speed of mass approaches the speed of light. The initial physical situations initially appear so benign, however, that our sense of well-being is not threatened, nor is it alerted, or at least not until we have worked through the detailed mathematics. Then we can see the inherent absurdity of the physics and we can observe just how quickly things spin out of control. In the next video, I will reverse the situation and I will give you a situation where it is the mathematics of analysis that leads us into stillness, and it is the physics that identifies both the origin of the difficulty and removes the confusion. So if you learned something from this video, like, share and subscribe. And as always, till the next time, stay safe and stay healthy you all.